everyone, my name's Danielle and happy holidays! Welcome to another episode of Board Game Bakes. This week we're going to focus on 12 Days, which is produced by Calliope Games. And just like the song, there's 78 cards for the 78 gifts, and there's also a Santa and a Mrs. Claus. So there's 80 cards that we're going to recreate. Yeah, we're going to make 80 cookies. Hopefully we're done by Christmas. Let's get started. Can you believe that's almost Christmas? I definitely cannot. Nope, not me. Like all good little bakers, we're going to start making some sugar cookies for the holidays. However, these will take much longer than decorating with kids. Since these are the plain sugar cookies I've made multiple times, the measurements are down below. You can actually check out my first ever episode with maple cookies if you want more details. For now, cream your butter and granulated sugar in a mixer bowl. While that mixes, combine flour, baking powder, and salt in a small bowl. Add an egg and milk to the butter mixture. Finally, add in the dry ingredients. Form it into 2 discs and refrigerate for at least 2 hours or overnight. Now repeat this process again with another batch. Unless your mixer is larger and happier than mine, you could go for a double batch all at once. So it's chilled, roll it out to 1/4 inch thickness, and then use an oval cookie cutter to cut out 80 ovals if you're going to do the entire game. You want to put them on a cookie sheet and bake at 375 degrees for 7 to 9 minutes. Let them cool completely before decorating. Happy holidays! While you're here, make sure you subscribe to my channel for new videos every Tuesday. Thanks! Now it's time to decorate. Our first of many steps is to outline all 80 cookies with a thick white royal icing. Once you're done outlining, the one you start with should definitely be dry enough to flood the cookies. Flood with thin white royal icing. Let it sit for at least 2 hours before continuing. Time to whip out my favorite toy, my airbrush machine. Woohoo! Instead of making different color royal icing for all the cookie backgrounds, I opted to use the airbrush because it also lets me do different kinds of shadings and color blending. Use a copy of the board game for reference for the background colors of all of the 13 types of cookies and go for it. Once the spray paint has had enough time to dry, it's time to whip out my other favorite toy, my Cricut, to make a stencil. Use the stencil to help give the background a kind of stained glass appearance. Some of the circles are slightly off center, but you can't go wrong just centering the stencil and spraying with a light coat of black for each cookie. Now that the backgrounds have dried, it's time for the fun but long part, decorating with all the 12 days of Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge and a pear tree. I'm going to show these in ascending order because it makes more sense. I actually decorated them backwards so that when I got to the 1-day cookie, I was only doing 1 cookie and finally done. The first one is important because you only have 1 cookie to get it right. Use white royal icing to get the head and plumes. From this point on, unless specified, all the icings are an outlining consistency, so they're thicker. Use brown for the body and give it a fun swirl to add some texture and a lighter color. Around the partridge, use brown and green to create the pear tree. Once that dried, go back with an edible marker to add details and a black border around the cookie. 1 down! Second day is 2 turtle doves. I will say that making these cookies probably made me learn this song forever. These 2 lovebirds are nuzzling together. Outline the shape with white icing and try to use dark and lighter brown to give the birds wings and not become a brown blob. They are sitting on some nice green and red holly. Add details and outline the shape once the bird blob is dried. On the 3rd day of Christmas, I heard 3 French hens a-squawking. Okay, that's how it goes. Start with the heads of these beautiful hens, then use our darker brown to do the first hen's body. It's helpful to have all the colors you need for these cookies ready, so you can easily switch between the colors to add swirls and definition for the hens. They all get lovely red combs and wattles. For all 12 days, additional details are added when they dry, and a nice black border is added to finish off the cookie. So I'll save you from listening to it for every single cookie. On day 4, 4 calling birds. These are arranged kind of like a bird wreath. Start with the black to get the shape of your birds. Add beaks and some greenery with some nice red berry accents. 5 gold rings. I really don't think you could say that without saying it, so just had to. Sorry. These were surprisingly difficult to get so that they are all the same size and overlap the right amount. It's also definitely a cookie where the edible marker makes a big difference. On the 6th day of Christmas, there were 6 geese a-laying. This is where I tend to start getting confused when I used to remember the song, or when playing the game because 7 swans a-swimming is very close to the 6 keys of Lang numerically. Start with a peach color for the head and breast. Use dark brown with some swirling to get the wings. Finally add those white eggs since the geese are laying. And you can give them a little nest too. On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 swans a swimming. We're over halfway through the days. Not the quantity, but at least the number, so I had to do the full introduction one more time. These cookies have a fun dual tone background and water details to emphasize the swimming part. There's a lot of white on this cookie, so outline the shape of the swan with thick white royal icing, and use a thin white to fill in all the swans. This way you use less icing. The nice thing about these is that the rest of the details are done with edible marker. Thankfully, getting the gift of 12 days of Christmas is a lot cleaner than having to deal with all the birds that this person received as gifts. So many birds. Hopefully you stuck around for 8 Maids of Milking because the designs start to get more complex at this point, but also it's so amazing to see them come together. Start with the rich deep purple dress. Now, the kind of weird part is that you just add the arms and the head with no hair, so it's fun seeing it come together, but the in-between's a little funny. Fill in the rest of the dress white, and then give the hair bonnet and make her nice and milk laden with her baskets. Yeah. Do you ever wonder what it'd be like to actually get all these gifts? On the 9th day of Christmas, things start getting crowded. 9 ladies dancing show up to the party and are very classy in their white dress. Start with the white dress, and this takes up most of the cookie. Add the head and hands with a nice peach color. Next, go with a dark brown for the hair and a bright red for her beautiful sash. The black dress details with the edible marker help add some depth and make it pop. On day 10, this lucky person got 10 Lords of Leaping. Time to whip out some light brown to get the dancers in their impressive pose. Next, add the lovely colored shirt and hat. Fill in the head and hands with peach, and try to add dark brown splotches that actually look like boots, which is surprisingly hard. I decided that doing the facial hair with edible marker instead of frosting was the way to go. Don't they have pizzazz? Okay, we're almost there. Are you still with me? If so, thanks for watching, and you won't be disappointed with the final 2. Let's make 11 pipers piping. Days 11 and 12 have soldiers, which are definitely intimidating, but turned out to be my favorite ones. Start with the brown pants/shirt. Aren't they beautiful triangles? Now add the black details so you have a floating hat. Use red royal icing to fill in the uniform. Peach for the face and hands. White for the frills and hair. Finally add the momentous pipe. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 drummers drumming. Okay, we've worked up to this moment, and we're finally here. I'm not sure how many times I actually made it to 12 when singing this carol, but at least we made it with cookies. This one also starts with a brown shirt and pants, except that a space is left for the drum. Add the black details, including the drum head and his fun hat. Fill in the coat with the nice red coat red. Next, give our headless soldiers a head and some hands, or else how can he drum? Add the white details that pull it all together, and finally, add the drumsticks. Before you pack everything up, we're forgetting 2 very important people, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. They look like your traditional Santa and Mrs. Claus. I'm going to do them so they match the image on the card. So of course we need some peach, white, and naturally a lot of red. And when these are all done, finally, we did it! We made 80 cookies. You're a winner. Here they are. Thanks for watching another episode of Board Game Bakes, and thanks for sticking with me through all 12 days of Christmas. It may have taken me like 12 hours to decorate those cookies, so thanks for sticking with me to the end. I actually got to play taste this game with all different members of the Calliope team, which was a lot of fun at PAX U. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you so much watching this video. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Keep playing games and keep them sweet. Bye!